My name is Brad Hill. I am currently the Interim Director of Water Services for the City of Flagstaff. To put a little context on that, I was the Director of Water Services for the city. I've worked for them for over 13 years, and now I'm helping the city in an interim basis as they go through a recruitment process for my position. I enjoy this area. I've moved to Flagstaff in the 1970s. I then left Flagstaff and have come back. Flagstaff is the largest community north of Phoenix. It's at 7,000 feet in the beautiful ponderosa forest. So the broader landscape of water in northern Arizona is there's very few natural streams other than the big ones like the Verde or the Colorado River. So surface water is short. Flagstaff's first water supply was up in the peaks at 11,000 feet. And then as the city continued to grow, we began to use its second surface water source, which is Upper Lake Mary. Again, a relatively small watershed by some standards. And then because that's all of the surface water available to this part of northern Arizona, back in the 1950s when we had the beginning of drought, the city really learned itself and where groundwater and the importance of groundwater. So we started to drill ever since the 1950s, continually increasing its use from wells and groundwater. There are deep aquifers here that are very stable in terms of not impacted by immediate drought, and so they're a very important water supply to the communities up here in northern Arizona. There's a lot of things that we're doing in terms of long-term planning to make sure that the water supplies we have will last, can accommodate growth that's anticipated and planned. Because the city was very proactive 10 plus years ago by adopting what is known as the adequate water supply rules, which are some of the tools at the state level that they give for folks outside of active management areas. So what that does is that allowed us to begin to link growth and water supply that Flagstaff had never done before. Trying to make our groundwater even more sustainable, meaning not just relying on natural recharge from snowmelt, but we're doing augmentation, meaning how do we take our unused reclaimed water and put it in the ground more efficiently and more effectively to help augment our groundwater supplies. So there's kind of two parts to how we view this. Looking into the future, City Council authorized the city to buy a water ranch known as Red Gap Ranch, 40 miles west of town in 2005. And staff over time since then has been slowly putting the pieces together so we can make it a future water supply should the city elect to actually build and develop it. I mentioned earlier about putting our reclaimed water underground. We're also looking at does direct potable reuse make sense? Meaning what that means is taking reclaimed water, treating it to an advanced treated to purification to actually drink the water. So we're actively involved in all of those options. So the one thing I would ask the state legislature to do is to listen to rural Arizona. I mean, when I say rural Arizona, areas outside of the active management areas. Not all of those are rural, like Flagstaff, but to give them tools, water management tools, so they can make locally based decisions themselves. Some areas, state-based programs like the Assured and Adequate Water Supply work. Other areas they don't. And so I think it's really important that the legislature listens to rural Arizona and gets them those water management tools so they can actively manage their own supplies locally. So what's at stake if we don't take action? I'm going to take my hydrology hat off and put my geology hat on. There are many examples of former communities around our state that mined out gold, that mined out copper, and aren't here anymore. They're ghost towns. We go visit them now. Now they're tourist attractions. If we don't take control of groundwater and how we manage it in the rural areas, I see groundwater is just another resource like gold, silver, copper. If we mine those out and those communities don't have a sustainable way to grow and to manage their supplies, both supply and growth, we could end up very similar to those communities, to those former mining communities.